What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Stoic Context. Today, we are going to react to another Kevin Samuels video. Before we get into it, make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm going to save my commentary for the end of the video, so stay tuned for that.
I don't want to be on YouTube.
Okay, what is the disagreement?
Um, so some of the things that I've heard you say about keeping a husband, I'm a little bit confused about them because in my in my regular life, and of course I've never dated a high value man, which we know you said that most women can't really get that. So I'm talking about regular guys here. Um, you said that we can't keep men because we are combative and we're aggressive. Um, and in my experience, I think more aggressive women I've seen honestly keep men more.
Ma'am, how are we defining keep?
When I say keep, as in they're the ones that are being kept by the man. You're in the house.
How are we defining keep? We keep score over here by weddings,
Okay.
marriages, wedding rings.
Well, one woman I know is married. The other
One
two.
woman. One woman.
Well, I'm talking about the examples that I'm talking about, not all.
Okay. Okay.
This person who is someone who I looked up to because she was married young. She did
Mm-hmm.
it the right way, and I did not. So I looked
Okay.
up to her. What I
So,
was
so what you're saying is, hey, Kevin, what you and the other hundreds of thousands of men are saying, they want women who are cooperative, not combative. But what I'm seeing in my anecdotal world is one woman who is combative is married.
no.
Okay, that's what I just heard. What's wrong in what I just said?
Um. Okay. Well, what I'm trying to say, this person isn't combative necessarily, but um, what I've seen with women who have men, they're kind of
I said, man, you said that women are kept. And I said, how are we defining keep? You said kept. I said, we define by weddings, marriages. That's how we define over here. Because you did start off saying marriages, ma'am. So you cannot go between dating and marriages. How are we keeping score?
we can keep score by marriage if you'd like.
That's the only way we keep score. That's the only thing you can see. So you're saying that men would marry women who are combative.
Not necessarily combative, but they just have other qualities that I feel like are. I just don't understand how. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. There's women that I look up to that are married, and I'll ask them certain questions about keeping a man, and they're kind of aggressive. They're not. Some of them aren't house women. They're not cooking and cleaning. They're just, but they will fight you about their man, or they will, yell
Ma'am,
at
okay,
their married
due respect, I don't really understand the point you're trying to make. You ask these women about what?
about being in a relationship. How do you get a man to stay with you? Being
Uh-huh.
married.
What did you ask? What happened when you asked your mother?
My mother is not married.
Okay. All right. So the women you ask, and this one woman that you're talking about is married, yes or no?
Yes.
And you asked her, what do you do to keep your marriage going?
Yes.
And what did she say?
Um, I don't know. First, she just said it's love. They got married young. It was like a high school sweetheart kind of thing. And I don't know, to be partners in the partnership and all that stuff. But I feel like that's disingenuous. But what I've seen is different than what I'm being shown, what I'm being told. What I see
What
is
did
that
she say?
they loved each other. That's why they're married. Just make sure that you love him, you be there for him.
See, this is what I need. Okay. And this is what do the men say they want?
The men said that they want a woman who's there for them, who's a good.
Then why don't you do what the men French toast ass say instead of what you think you see and what some one woman told you? Why don't you listen to the buyers instead of the sellers?
I do, but the
Okay.
people who are buying are
Excuse me?
contradicting what they're telling me.
Excuse me? You
They're
people
telling
who are what? The people who are buying? I want to be
The,
clear what you said.
the men in the situation, they're telling me one thing, but the women that they are keeping, the women they are with,
Ma'am, the men, are you talking about you talk to their husbands?
no,
Okay, don't get frustrated at me because you can't be clear about what you're asking.
I'm
The
not
chat
frustrated.
room's confused too, so I'm sorry. I can only go on what you tell me. What is the question you ultimately have? How about that?
My question that I have is why, when I listen to you and you say
What is the question you ultimately have? Don't give me the background. What is the question? What is the confusion? What is the issue?
the issue that I have is that I just don't believe that I think men are kept by their women, and I think that you're
Then then
sometimes
then fine. Then do that and die alone. I don't care what you think.
well, I
No
just
one cares what you think at
I'm not
25. I want you to understand what the men keep asking for. That's the mother freaking problem. You think you know better than us.
no, I don't. I'm asking you. I don't think
You
I know better. I'm
okay?
confused.
You say the men are kept by their women, meaning what?
I will okay. The men are kept by their women, as in these women are more aggressive than me. You know what I mean? They're
Are they, ma'am? These women you talked to. Okay,
I'm clearly speaking on my life and my life experiences.
ma'am, you talked about one woman that's married.
Okay.
And you keep saying these women. I only care about the married women.
Okay.
How many? Do you know many married women?
No,
Then what do you see any problem with that?
that is a problem. I do
Do
have a
you see
problem.
any problem with that though? You're judging you're trying to judge the market and men based upon women who are not married and what they say and what you think you see. But the one thing is, I said we judge on marriages. I don't care what women in the streets are saying. Do
It's
you
not.
want to be married?
Yes, I do.
Why?
I just think that's the right thing to do. Women should be married.
Why?
Why?
Yes.
That's just what I'm being told is the right thing to do.
Okay, well, jump off a bridge.
Okay.
That's the right thing to do too. If you want to die, jump off a bridge.
Well, I don't want to die. I want to live.
Okay, then your want matters. So don't just tell me you why
I
do you want to get married?
so that I can create a stable foundation for my
For
children,
whom?
future
For
generations,
whom?
for my children, and for
Right.
future.
What's your marriage? What is your they did it right marriage model?
Um, I don't have a lot of examples of that.
What is your they did it right marriage model?
They did it right. You get married, you have children.
Where no, what is your that couple did it right marriage model? What public couple is they did it right? Your public
Um,
couple, they did it right.
um, as in celebrities, I honestly don't.
I don't care if they're celebrities, I say public. Because I don't know your grandparents or anybody else. So I need to know. See, what I'm showing is you put a lot of faith, you put a lot of stock in your little anecdotal world.
I don't want to do that.
But I need you to listen.
Okay.
You put a lot of stock in your anecdotal world. My world is much bigger than yours, and it's loaded with men saying what the hell they want. You don't have a they did it right marriage model. I ask you why you want to be married, and you don't have a why, other than it's just the right thing to do.
That's what you guys tell
But
me.
I need you to be okay. When is, have you ever had a relationship?
Not really.
Thank you. Your problem is not relationships. Your problem, you're socially awkward because you can't even have a conversation that's not annoying.
Okay. Well, that's the thing. I know I have a problem. That's why I'm
Well,
when I
that's good. You know that, but your problem is not men and what men are saying. Your problem is even right here. I don't want to talk to you anymore, and I'm patient.
well, I'm not socially awkward. I'm in this conversation, it's a little heated because I'm trying to get my point across and I'm not doing it very well. So I'm a
Well,
little,
that's not my problem now, is it?
oh, it's not.
Well, whatever the issue is, ma'am, it's on your side.
Okay.
And you say you're not socially awkward. You're 25 years old and haven't had a relationship?
Not a long-term relationship.
Then
No.
that kind of leads towards socially awkward, ma'am, whether you like the word or not. If you were a man, are you a virgin?
No.
What's the longest relationship you ever had?
About 5 months or so.
When was the last time you were actually intimate with somebody? No one can see you.
Um, Probably about 3 months ago.
All right, ma'am. 5 month relationship at 25 years old, that leans towards socially awkward.
Okay.
So before you start worrying about men, you need to kind of get a grasp of what it is, um, your
I was going to do
EQ.
that, but
All right.
you said that we shouldn't do that, that you shouldn't try
Oh,
to
you're
find.
not. But you're, okay. First off, don't say that I said you shouldn't. I don't know you. You have never booked a session with me, so don't make me responsible for what you think you hear in a podcast.
Okay.
That's bullshit.
To follow good advice. And you said that a lot of women feel like,
Ma'am, I don't know you. And I'm gonna tell you right now, based on the conversation I've already had, you hear what you want to hear. Go back and listen to this. I listen very well. So I can't be responsible for what you think you heard.
okay. So you,
Let's slow this down and look at the bigger picture. What we just witnessed wasn't just confusion, it was a collision between personal anecdotes and objective outcomes. She came into the conversation with what she feels is happening around her, but Kevin kept redirecting her back to the data, the commitment, and the results. And that's where most people get stuck. They don't want to accept that what feels right to them might not have what actually worked. She kept referencing aggressive women who have men, but she couldn't define what those relationships looked like beyond surface level details. No marriage license, no real commitment. Just, they have a man. That's like saying someone who shows up to practice is already on the team. No, they're just in the gym. The real test is whether the coach signs you for the season. Now, let's talk about listening. Kevin asked her multiple times to clarify her point, and each time she circled back to how she feels or what she thinks she saw or what one woman told her. But when asked for direct models, who did it right, whose proof your method works, she had no answer. That's not an opinion problem. That's a lack of evidence. You can't plan a future based on vibes and hopes. You need examples, you need strategy, you need structure. Here's the tough love. When men speak, listen, not to react, but to understand. Women spend a lot of time listening to other women about men and then wonder why they can't keep one. That's like taking swimming lessons from someone who's never been in water. If men say they want cooperation, peace, and support, arguing that aggressive women have men only proves you're watching the wrong metric. And lastly, let us talk about honesty. She admitted she hasn't had a long-term relationship. That's a good start. But self-awareness isn't just admitting where you are. It's accepting why. If you're 25 with no relationship history and trouble communicating, the issue isn't men. It's your readiness. Relationships aren't rewards for existing. They're reflections of what you've prepared for. Moral of the story. Marriage isn't luck, it's strategy. You don't get there by following what feels good. You get there by aligning with what works. Thanks for watching another breakdown here on Stoic Context, where we don't react with emotion, we respond with logic. If you got value from today's discussion, hit that like button to let the algorithm know this message needs to reach more people. And if you're new here, subscribe for more real conversations that hold up a mirror, not a megaphone. Until next time, think deeper, choose wiser, and live with purpose. Stoic Context, signing out.